There's something I want to talk to you about as it pertains to the system, really the communists, but now that they've conquered the institutions, it's the system itself. Something normal people really struggle to understand, and that is this. They are at war. With what? That, of course, begs the question, well, what do you mean at war? At war with what? With everything. There is a mentality. It's demonic. Don't worry, communism's demonic, so you have to accept that. But there is a mentality that is like a virus on the left. American Democrats, really, they have this flowing through them, a mentality that everything is wrong. Everything is bad. The entire world, every institution, including the institution of the family, everything must be burnt down and destroyed. I've called it a religion of domination, a religion of destruction so many times. I hope it's finally getting through to people. They are fighting a war. And because they view it as war, it justifies in their mind casualties. It's the inevitable conclusion if you believe you are fighting a war. For instance, this assassin of Charlie Kirk, somebody who's not going to ever get named on this show. We've learned that he was a relatively normal kid 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was a normal kid. And then 2 years later, he's a demon. And a demon who thought he was right, thought he was at war. How did that happen? How in the world did he get that way? Well, as we get more and more information, we find out that he got sucked into this very, very dark internet world, this LGBTQ, tranny filth internet world. Now, why does that world exist? Why is that a thing? When your child gets on their phone and starts traveling through the internet, why is there even a rest stop that is an evil, demonic tranny world? Why is that a thing? Because they are trying to destroy our children. It's not accidental. It's not something they're passive about. They are trying to destroy everything. And your children are most definitely a target. And they can get them in and they can wreck them. And they think they're justified in doing so. They think they're justified in everything. Whether it's killing somebody, burning things down, vandalizing, destroying everything you love is the entire point behind it. Did you see they had a mural of Charlie at UNC Wilmington? And then somebody defaced it, painted a Black Lives Matter mural over it. Now, how in the world, in your mind, do you justify something like that? It's just a mural honoring someone who's dead, who meant a lot to people. How do you convince yourself you're the good guy? Well, their war they're fighting, it's constantly being reinforced by the elite communists in our society, elite communists in the media, elite communists in politics. They are telling these people they're at war. Have you ever seen a Democrat politician speak on stage? Of course you have. We played you a million clips on this show. Have you ever seen their ads? You will notice something now that I pointed out. You've probably already noticed it. They're never actually selling, this is going to work for you and make your life better. That's very rarely even brought up. What they're always selling is revenge. This guy's bad. These people are evil. You elect me and I'll hurt them. Constantly reinforcing the notion that everything's bad, everything's evil, and you're at war with it. Everything's bad, everything's evil, you're at war with it. Why do you think they've fallen in love with that term fascist?
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist
dictatorship.
Country. We are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
Credit to Western Lensman for putting that thing together. This kind of language over and over and over and over and over again reinforces in the mind of Democrats that they are fighting a war against evil, a war against everything, and that everything must be destroyed. Why is it they seem to wreck whatever they go into? Why? Why did they wreck the teaching profession, the nursing profession? Why did they wreck Bud Light, the Cub Scouts, the NFL, the FBI? Why? Because they're trying to. That is the whole point of it. They're trying to. People will point out, Disney's a great example of this. Disney had all these popular superhero movies, Avengers this and Avengers that. Now they're all flopping at the box office. Well, why do they keep promoting feminism in these movies? Why is everything gay now? Because they're trying to destroy it. They are at war with everything, absolutely everything. And it gives their conscience permission to do the worst things in the world, because you can do what you want to your enemy when you're at war. Did you hear Stephen Miller's wife?
The morning after our dear friend Charlie was assassinated, I take a step out on my porch and I had a lady out there saying, "I'm watching you." They then doxed my family by distributing flyers all over our neighborhood saying that my husband, Stephen Miller, is a Nazi, is a war criminal, and had our home address. They spread it all over our neighborhood and have continued to do so, not only at my children's parks, but around town. And as you and I both know, what they're intending to do is not just peacefully protest. And maybe these people are not the assassins, but they are inciting the same violence that we saw take out our friend Charlie Kirk last week.
They're at war. And they're not sorry because something terrible happened. That's what they wanted to happen. And don't for a second think that this violent mentality is simply isolated to a couple tranny freaks online. Did you see what a judge in Ohio said? This is what he said, quote, "How's he feel about gun violence and gun control in hell now? So a white guy killed him. Color it karma. Rest in hatred and division." That's a judge at war with everything good, with everything decent, everything you hold dear. He believes it is his job, his duty to tear it down. And that's why they operate the way they operate. And that's why the feelings, the emotions gush out of them in the most bizarre ways to normal people. Did you see this ABC reporter when the information about the text messages came out?
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate, who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner. So a very interesting and, as Pierre said, riveting press conference, David.
It was touching. He was touched. He, of course, has since apologized since the world came down on him, but that's how he felt. He's touched by the whole thing. The average Democrat is not mortified by violence. They are at war with everything, and they understand that violence is simply part of it, a necessary part of it. And look, the ones who aren't openly celebrate it justify it all the time They're sometimes very overt about it, sometimes not. But how many different versions of what Montel Williams said on CNN here, how many different versions of this have you seen? He kind of had it coming.
There are people who are trying to pigeonhole this as a leftist thing and a right thing. And what we're really talking about, hear me because I'm going to throw you when I say this. We're talking about a love-torn child, a kid. This is probably his first real relationship, and somebody was disparaging the person that he loved. He sat on that building for 30 minutes before he took the shot. Why did he wait until the first word trans came up? Then he took the shot.
You think he heard it? He could hear it?
I think he could hear it. I think he also, I don't believe he was motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally. I think this was a emotionally stunted person who literally, when I say it this way, just hear me, tried to defend his significant other.
They are at war with everything. And this is why you must purge communists everywhere you find them. Get them out of your school board. Get them out of the teaching profession, the nursing profession. I don't care if you're a company that sells brake pads and you have communists in there. Get them out. Get them out of your society. Get them out of our country because they are at war with it. They're at war with themselves too. Remember that. They're at war with themselves. They hate themselves. It's demonic. It's deeply disturbing. And this is now the fight we have. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.